Alrighty. Time now, just a little before 11:40 here on our Saturday morning. And a lot of people already out and about, some of us getting ready, some of us have other plans into later this afternoon and evening. And I wanted to start with this, by the way. This right here was just issued a few minutes ago from the Storm Prediction Center, which is in charge of letting us know what the threat for severe weather is across the country. So you can see this blue box, and it includes most of us here in Northeast Ohio. 80% chance of seeing a severe thunderstorm watch issued for this afternoon into this evening. What does that mean for you? Be on guard. This does not look to be worst case based on some of the things I've been seeing, which is great. But some of us, especially with the wind, you can see that damaging wind potential may increase through the afternoon. What does that mean? These storms will have the potential of 60+ mile-per-hour gusts. And I would also say big hail, based on some of the things that I've been seeing trending. We've been talking about big wind, big hail, and a straight tornado chance. Storm Prediction Center clearly emphasizing the wind. Now, if you notice something very particular, let me zoom on in, because we don't have the watch yet. Let me try to zoom on in here so you can see. Look at how it kind of cuts off. Let me go like this. Lake, Ashtabula County, you're not included in this. You might get included in the watch, but the more favorable conditions are south of the turnpike. And I've been saying this all morning. I mentioned this yesterday as well. From what I've been seeing, the threat looks to be higher the farther south you go. Now, any sort of questions that you may have, for example, I posted earlier this morning on my Facebook. Christy mentioned that her niece's wedding is at 4 o'clock, Sheffield Lake, which is kind of on the border of that blue line there. And honestly, if Cleveland points north and east, I'm feeling fairly confident that we would avoid the worst of the severe weather, but we're not out of the woods yet. I'm going to talk about it, and again, if you have any questions, comment section should be open on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. If any of your friends, family have any sort of plans, this is how you're going to be able to do it. Let's look at the Power 5 right now, and what you're going to see here, and I'm going to stop it right now. This is what it looks like right now. Big storms are forming, but not quite severe. We're a little early into the day where we just don't quite have the right ingredients yet set up for severe weather. So a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning, but not a lot of wind, not a lot of hail, and no tornadic activity yet. For us here in Cleveland, things are looking better because these storms from earlier, which just dropped a couple of lightning bolts not far from Cedar Point, notice how they're weakening and going southeast instead of east. So it's almost like it's hitting a brick wall of stable air here. So it's having a tough time getting closer to Cleveland. What does that mean for us for Pride in the CLE? Unfortunately, I think our luck will run out in about 20 minutes because this stuff here in western Lorain County, this stuff is eventually going to make it to Cleveland, albeit not as bad. We're not looking at anything necessarily severe with this, which is great. Lightning also going down, which is great because lightning is the #1 concern when there's a lot of people outside. You don't want anyone to get struck by lightning, so that's good. But if you're in southern Ashland County, if you're in southern Wayne County, Holmes County, we are dealing with a lot of lightning that will be moving on in. In fact, look at this. In just the last few minutes, 569 lightning strikes, 568. So it's fluctuating, but it's very high. So there's a lot of lightning, a lot of juice with these storms because it's very humid. If you haven't stepped out yet, feel the humidity. It's really out there. In terms of wind, I'm not seeing a lot of big wind. It just looks fairly tame. It's just a lot of lightning and a lot of rain right now. That changes until later this afternoon. Let me just double check, making sure. Yeah, so there might be a little bit of small hail in this pink color that's approaching Lexington and just south of Mansfield, about to hit 71. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some pea-sized hail, but this is not necessarily the severe stuff yet. It hasn't gotten intense yet. This is almost like an appetizer before the main event that we're expecting later this afternoon. The fact that this is formed like this is actually a good thing because it's going to steal energy from the stuff later this afternoon. Let's see here. I got a couple of comments. Let me talk about it right now. Let's see. We have Hassan, just some wind, y'all. All good. Yeah, you're going to notice the wind. It's a little annoying because it's a very humid kind of wind. It's not like a cool lake breeze that we get during the spring that feels nice and comfortable. This one is almost like the ceiling fan that's just pumping more of that hot and humid air kind of thing. Yeah, again, most of the area right now is not dealing with rain at the moment. And I'm just looking ahead to later this afternoon. Let's see here. Jenny just joining. Hello, welcome, welcome, about the Massillon and Perry area. So you're going to get in on some of the rain in about an hour, not overly heavy. A lot of it is going to miss to your south and west. You can see that all the way here toward Mansfield, down toward the Columbus area. Most of that's going to miss you, but you're going to get, again, a couple of these showers and a brief downpour in the next hour, then a break, and then after 4 o'clock, be on guard for a couple of these storms to pop up, very Florida style. They're going to pop up because of all the heat and humidity, and not everyone's going to see it. You know that meme where like you have the car mirror, so like in front of you it's all like beautiful and sunny, and then you look in the mirror behind you and it's just, you know, like big storm. That's what it's kind of going to be later this afternoon and evening. So quite a few of us will remain dry, and my best guess where that dry area is going to be, Cleveland, up 90, Menor to Ashtabula. This area I feel safest that it will be staying mostly dry here. If you're south of the Turnpike, that's where those storm chances really go up with the potential for some severe weather. Eric asking how long will it take for the storms to pass? Let's take a closer look here with Futurecast together. I have to say, our computer models have not done a great job, and it's hard to communicate, like when you want to show what your forecast is and the models don't necessarily agree, and case in point, we're at 11:43. This is all the way down here. It's currently raining very heavily in the Mansfield area, but Futurecast doesn't show it, for example. So don't take this completely as at face value, but there's a brief break through about 3 o'clock, and then the storms will pop up. But notice where they're most likely to pop up. Mostly south of the Turnpike. South, like southern Stark County, Tuscarawas, Holmes, Coshocton counties. That area looks to be most likely. And my biggest worry, honestly, is going to be Carroll County. This area here, closer to the Pennsylvania state line, south of Youngstown, that is where the most energy is likely to form, and that's where you can get some big hail, big wind, and maybe a tornado. Again, that's a low end, but you can't rule one out. Everyone else, again, don't be harking on, hey, you know, Allan said there's a severe threat. It's not going to be for everyone. In fact, about half of us might not even see more raindrops later this afternoon. We'll see those big ominous clouds, but the storms miss you. And for some of us, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, that downpour was insane. I couldn't see the car in front of me because it's raining that heavily. You got the lightning, you got all that stuff going on. So there you go. Scott asking about, I'll start with Jamie here, asking about Lorraine. So Lorraine, you're dealing with the rain right now, and you'll have another opportunity at about 4 or 5 o'clock, but then honestly, I think closer you are to the lake, the less intense the rain is going to be. A look right now in Lorain County. Again, Lorain getting in on some light rain, but you'll have a bit of a heavier burst here in about 20-30 minutes. That stuff that's near Cedar Point will get to you. Then you're going to have a break. See, then there's nothing off to the west. Let me switch radar so you can see what I'm talking about. Nothing showing up on the radars off to the west. It will pop up into later this afternoon because of all the instability, but this is kind of this in-between appetizer event. It's like when you go to the restaurant and like you want like 2 appetizers. This is like appetizer number 2 before the main event. And this one is a pretty potent one. This wasn't supposed to be severe, but look at all these lightning strikes. Like, look at all of this. Crazy. And then Scott was asking about Canton, about getting bad weather. So in Canton, you're going to unfortunately catch some of these storms in about an hour from now. So take it about 12:45. Once that's through, you're going to have a brief break, and then after 4 o'clock, be on guard for storms. Most of your afternoon and evening will be fine, just hot and humid. For, again, 30-minute bursts, there can be a couple storms that bubble up and produce big wind and big hail and move on. Same thing for Barberton, Dominic. You're going to get clipped barely. You're going to get clipped by these downpours and maybe a couple of bolts of lightning in about 20-30 minutes. That'll last about an hour. Then once that's through, you have a break till about 4, and after 4 o'clock, be on guard for a couple of thunderstorms that may get very close or hit you head on. So, cool. Hopefully that helps. Cheney asking about Stark and Tuscarawas. I would be more worried about, especially south of Canton. This area here for sure. And let me explain why. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the exact details here. So this is the official Storm Prediction Center threat. Everyone's under a tier 2, but not all places are created equal in terms of severe threat. This is the tornado threat. It's on the low end. It's the lowest on the scale, but notice where it cuts off. Lake Ashtabula, especially north of 90, you're not included. And it's a low end, again, the focus is south and east of Cleveland. Big wind, look at that, Carroll County. That's what I mean. This area right here, I'm most worried about a severe thunderstorm with 70-mile-an-hour winds, hail as well. That's the area I'm most worried about, and that does clip Tuscarawas and southern Stark. As for hail, everyone is on a low to moderate threat, kind of an in-between threat. Again, if you don't see hail, good. Most of you won't, but a couple of you will, and that's what that low to moderate threat is. Hopefully that helps out. Yes, Chris, exactly. Manaway, same thing. Basically what I just talked about with Stark County, just a little bit, you're a little farther north, so not as intense, but still around 5 or 6 o'clock I'd be on guard. Sagamore Hills may be a touch earlier, but similar idea. Ashley, you are one of the many people who are traveling to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh also looks very interesting. The timing is later. If you can get out, I think your best window to leave is probably about 1:30, 2 o'clock, so that you travel in that break, and the break travels with you as you move to Pittsburgh. So you're always constantly in that dry bubble between the rounds of storms. So I would recommend leaving at around 2 o'clock in order to make sure that you're staying dry. And then, yeah, in the evening, especially around 8 o'clock around sunset, that's when Pittsburgh could get in. So keep that in mind. Hey, Lorraine. Watching from Canal Fulton. Thank you so much for watching. A little bit lower than what I was talking about with Stark and Tuscarawas. You're still going to have a threat for some wind and some storms, but there's going to be less coverage of the storms closer to your area. But still, be on alert after about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Chardon, not that bad compared to New Philadelphia, to Carrollton. And again, the number one concern is the wind. It's a low, moderate threat, but a moderate threat to the south and east. So in Chardon, you could see a couple of those storms. Again, it's impossible to pinpoint with our current technology exactly who's going to see what. We can broad brush by saying, hey, a few of us will see those storms, and be prepared for those storms. And even if you don't get those storms, know that you're prepared if there is. And maybe the next round that we get, you will get the rain and other people in neighboring towns won't. Because I know a lot of people get upset when they don't get the storms when I predict it. Again, have to listen very carefully to what I say, and my goal is to make it as clear as possible. Not everyone's going to see the storms. More than half will not be severe, but there will be an opportunity, especially south and east of Akron, south and east of the Turnpike, where that wind really goes crazy. Paynesville, good news. I think most of it will stay to your south, but I can't completely have you out of the woods yet. Hassan, 1:30, 2 o'clock, it'll stop here in the Sandusky area. Yes, you're going to get that break probably even sooner than that. And then just be on alert for a couple of more storms around 4 or 5 o'clock. But honestly, most of those look to stay to your south at this point. Andrew asking about Summit County later. Again, after 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when I'm looking at the potential there. Hey, Jim, drizzling in North Olmsted. You're going to see the rain pick on up here, actually, shortly. Let's go in here. And hey, we have our first severe thunderstorm warning in for Holmes County, in for Ashland County, in for Knox County, which is outside our viewing area. So we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. Let me just make sure our digital producer is aware. Let me just let them know. Any viewers from Holmes County watching by any chance? Let me know. Hopefully you're getting your plans finalized and you're staying inside here, because look at this. So what's finally happening now that we're getting more sunshine, more heat, more humidity, we're going to get to a certain threshold. So imagine like you're trying to bake a cake, right? And you need to get the ratios right. You need to have the right amount of sugar, the right amount of flour. And when you have those right amount of ingredients, that's enough to produce severe weather. And we're starting to reach that right now. So let's go a little bit in depth here. Let me just double check, make sure I'm getting everything correct here. So let me regroup here real quick. Let me just double check, make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Bear with me. Traveling east at 60 miles an hour. Penny-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour gusts with some damage to trees and power lines expected. That is the word from the National Weather Service. That's approaching Perrysville. That's approaching Shreve and Holmesville in the next 20, 30 minutes. So let's take a closer storm track at it right now, actually. Let's clear this. Let's clear the lightning. There's a lot of lightning, so let's clear that out. Let me clear this box. Let's deep dive together, because it's just south of Mansfield. South side of Mansfield, you're included in it. Let me draw this line out. It's traveling. There we go. There's the severe thunderstorm watch getting issued in real time. You see it pop up right there. This is heading east at about 60 miles an hour. So what are we looking at? Let me just click that off. This is what we're looking at. So Perrysville, you got about 6 minutes until the rain reaches you and the heavy stuff. Mount Vernon, about 10 minutes or so from now. Down towards Shreve, we're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes from now. That's when that really, really heavy rain, big wind reaches you. So I'm assuming that they're going to expand the severe thunderstorm watch shortly. This is not for the entire viewing area. This is for Stark County, Tuscarawas. So notice how Cleveland is not included in it yet. We're going to be keeping a very close eye out on that. Let me also let Mercy know watch issued, so we can get a push alert for that for those who aren't watching, and for those who aren't watching and they're located in Wayne or Holmes County or Richland or Ashland counties, let them know to hop on the stream so that they are weather aware of what's about to go down. Let me just write down in our chat here real quick. 4 warnings. Also, I'm not sure if Emily in the booth can hear, but because we have a severe thunderstorm warning, are we able to go live on our streaming platforms? All right. Let me just refresh. I'm seeing quite a few comments here. I'm going to try to just answer a couple of them, but we do have severe weather now. So Columbiana County, I would be very worried closer to about 6 o'clock. You're under the highest threat for wind across northeast Ohio today. Bedford, you're kind of on the edge. I think you might be far enough north where you're okay. About what time for Worcester? Worcester, you're going to miss the, well, let's see here. You're going to just miss the severe storm, but you're going to get some downpours in the next 20, 30 minutes. And then the main event will be after 4:30. Rebecca saying it's raining here, and we have another round of rain coming at noon. Rebecca, where are you located, just so I have an idea, and I can help you out, figure out what the rest of the afternoon looks for you. Cheney, Phil will be coming in later this afternoon, so it'll be either me or Phil. We will always keep you updated. That's the one thing you can always rely on us for, especially now in 2026 with all our technology. We're always going to be here for you. Even when others may not, we will always be here. So that's our #1 goal. Thank goodness with, of course, all the technology we have, we're able to bring it to you in real time on Facebook, on YouTube, and we're about to go live on our streaming platforms as well. Let's see here. Eric asking, wanting a good thunderstorm in Magnolia. You're probably going to get your wish for a good thunderstorm. Maybe not severe, but you'll probably get some thunder and lightning. Steam in the Valley in Independence at 3 o'clock will start fine, but towards the end, I would get a little worried about a thunderstorm popping on up. Yeah, there's a lot of comments. I'm apologizing as I'm trying to focus in on this warning here. Tia, right near Holmes County at the border of Worcester, no rain yet. So on the border of Worcester, Holmes County, right? So let me click off of this so that I can clear this. I can clear everything here. Your rain is about how many miles away? It is about Trying to estimate right here. About 11 miles away. So if you do the math real quick, you're about 5 or 10 minutes away from the first raindrops, and then about 15 minutes from some meaningful downpours. So get any outdoor stuff finished if you are outside, or if you're inside, just chill, watch us here with the stream. Yeah. Matthew in Youngstown. We don't necessarily cover Youngstown, but I do want to let you know about the threat being higher in Youngstown compared to Cleveland. Jenny saying the trees are blowing, it's so hot with the wind, and it's very humid as well, very humid wind, so it doesn't feel great. Downtown between 4 and 7, and I know, of course, we have Pride in the CLE now. We have the friendly match here at 6 o'clock. Things should be moving south, so 4 o'clock there's a chance, 7 we're fine in Cleveland. All right, let's go back to the severe thunderstorm warning here real quick. Let me turn on the warnings. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning, that includes southern Richland County, southern Ashland County, southernmost Wayne County, and western Holmes counties. This will go through the next 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Let me see what the wind looks like. Make sure there is, you know, there's a little bit trying to form. Doesn't look like anything too crazy. Let me just query this real quick. Yeah, it's not picking up on too much right now. It's not picking up on a lot of wind yet, but there can be wind of up to 60 miles an hour, and there is the potential for some hail. How much hail are we looking at? Well, literally, as we approach kind of this southern Richland, Ashland County area, there is radar indicated up to 1 inch hail. Half an inch hail is possible. This might be a little overdone, but hail is a possibility, and that is going to move into Bangerville, into Butler in the next couple of minutes. Perrysville, McKay, Loudonville, Mohicanville in the next 15 minutes. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, and the possibility for some hail and wind damage. Just double check everything's going swell here. Okay. Again, the severe thunderstorm warning goes through 12:30, and that includes parts of our viewing area. Let me clear this out. I'm going to get rid of the severe thunderstorm warning box because I don't see any. Yeah. Notice how Cleveland not under the severe thunderstorm watch. The watch is south of the turnpike. In fact, it's south of 76. That shows you where all of the energy is. It's down to the south, not necessarily here in Cleveland, which is a great sign to see. Let me go back to this. Let me take a bit of a closer look here at what we need to expect. Let me draw this track again one more time. We're going at about 60 miles an hour. So what are we going to see? Perrysville, you got a couple of minutes at this point. Mount Vernon, a few minutes. Shreve, we're looking at about 15 minutes from now when the heavy rain arrives, and the thunder and lightning will arrive before that. Glenmont, about 18 minutes from now, as we hit noon exactly on the nose on a Saturday afternoon. Again, for those tuning on in late, severe weather has started here across northeast Ohio. We're looking at parts of southern Wayne, western Holmes County, southern Ashland, and southern Richland counties. A severe thunderstorm warning for up to 60-mile-an-hour gusts, some penny-sized hail, and a lot of thunder and lightning. How much are we talking about? Look at all of these lightning strikes. That's why I turned it off. In just this cluster alone, we're talking about almost 500 lightning strikes in just the last few minutes. From the it's literally paralleling 71 as we speak right now. I see a lot of comments here. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can without going away too far from the warning. Stowe, you're going to get clipped by some of the downpours and a few lightning strikes, but not necessarily the heavy, the severe weather. That's going to, so the light rain is about to hit in a few minutes. A downpour in about a half an hour, then it stops at about 1:30. Then we're dry through 4 o'clock. Then we'll be tracking the opportunity for a few pop-up storms. Some of them might get close or hit you directly, or some might just skip over. That's just the nature of these storms for later this afternoon. Now, the ultimate question. This is what's been on my mind so far, too. Let me just delete this off my screen so I can talk about it. Because this is what, 12:01 p.m., So now we're really getting into the meat and potatoes of the day where all the ingredients are coming together. After this cluster of storms right here, do you think there's a chance for the second round to be stronger if it stays cloudy for the rest of the day and less sunshine? Of course. Sunshine is one of the most important tools, ingredients needed for severe weather. This is eventually going to strip the sunshine because it's going to produce clouds. It's not necessarily about, I think, clouds versus sun at this point. It's about how much energy these storms take. Because let's say you just made a cake, right? So you have a cake, but your kid or your, I don't know, just insert the blank, X person decides to eat half the cake. Then you only have half the cake left for the rest of the storms. I know, bad analogy. But the idea is these storms are going to steal energy from the afternoon. So theoretically, the areas that are seeing the severe weather now have a lower chance of seeing the severe weather later this afternoon. Again, not a slam dunk. It's not always going to be this way, but if there's any good news out of this is that we're getting the severe stuff out of the way now. Meredith asking about a soccer tournament going on in Medina. And in Medina County, we are seeing the rain light right now, but there will be a downpour with a couple of lightning strikes, which I'm worried about, moving on in the next 20 minutes. Then we'll be okay starting at around 1 o'clock through about 3 or 4, and then the opportunity picks back up for a couple of more thunderstorms. Ian, so technically our first round was all the way back at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. was our first round. This is like appetizer 2, which is turning into the main event for some of us down toward Richland, Ashland, Holmes counties. But there, yes, expect more, but I'm cautiously optimistic in Cleveland that we will miss out on the main event to the south. There might be a little rain, maybe a quick thunderstorm, but the severe stuff, I hope, based on what I'm seeing, will stay south of Cleveland. Case in point, look where the watch was issued. Stark, Wayne, Holmes, not Summit, not Cuyahoga, not Lake, not Ashtabula. Debbie asking about Columbus and Cincy. I mean, if she's driving down 71 right now, this is literally the worst weather in the whole state between Mansfield and Columbus. So call her right now and ask her exactly where she is, because if she's approaching Mansfield, tell her to take the exit, wait these storms out about 20, 30 minutes, because this is really, really, really heavy rain and a lot of lightning that you can't see very far for. Downtown Columbus even is under that severe thunderstorm warning as well, for what it's worth. Hopefully that helps out. Patty saying, hearing thunder in Elyria right now. That's the lightning strike that's on the west side of Lorraine right now. There it is, boom. Whenever you see it flashing, that means it happened in the last 60 seconds. So that's exactly what you heard. Yeah, and the main stuff is to the south, but still. I see a lot of questions about Cleveland. I did just answer. I don't know why they're sounding off. There's no tornado anywhere. Brook Park, you're just going to get a downpour here in the next few minutes. And not even a heavy downpour, just kind of a heavy burst of rain for a few minutes, and that's about it. A couple of strikes of lightning, that's about it. Yes to bonfires if you're okay with the humidity. Most of these storms will get out of the way by about 7 o'clock for most of us, closer to sunset south of the turnpike. So if you're in Euclid or Fairport Harbor or Lorraine, easily you can have a bonfire, no problem tonight. Andy, in downtown Burton, Geauga County, how long till the rain comes back? So we got a couple of pop-ups here as well that are starting to fire up here in parts of Geauga County now. You're going to see some rain on and off for till about 2 o'clock, and then the opportunity goes back up between about 4 and 7. Linda saying just rain in Norwalk. Yeah, because the north side of this, yeah, you just got a downpour and a couple of lightning bolts, but the Norwalk rain is about to end, and you're going to have dry time till at least 2:30, 3 o'clock. Mike asking about Lake Moore. Very similar timing as well, and probably not as bad. Well, there's your answer, by the way. Tornado siren testing 12 p.m. on Saturday. So again, with severe weather in the forecast, I don't know why they didn't postpone it, but just again, false alarm, people, false alarm, because it's just a test and only a test. Thunder in Lorraine, that's that bolt that you just heard. Bad timing for sure, yes. Amy saying looks like a nice thunderstorm in Avon. I wouldn't say a nice thunderstorm. You're going to get a couple of bolts of lightning here and a downpour, but not that impressive, not severe. The severe stuff is, again, down toward Wayne, Holmes, Ashland, Richland counties. It looks actually like it's getting a little weaker as we speak. Let me just check one thing out here real quick. Let me see here. It doesn't look that bad. I'm not seeing a lot of wind with this. Hail, though, yeah, there can be some hail, and it's skirting along the southern side of Richland County right now, southern Ashland. So Butler to Loughtonville to Nashville, Paint Valley, Holmesville. You're kind of in that area that you could get some hail out of this. So let me highlight this here real quick. Right in, oh, where is it? Let me draw this. Right in this area, based on what I'm seeing. This is the area where you can see potentially some hail in the next half hour. That includes Creighton, Nashville. Welcome kind of on the edge, Holmesville. So that's what it looks like there. I'm going to clear all that stuff out. Again, I know this is a little complicated, but let me show you where the watches are. So bear with me. I'm going to just load this up here real quick. Let me just make sure. I clearly don't even have it with me, so hold on. Pull this up. Boom. So the yellow color, which includes Stark County, Wayne County, Ashland County, points south. That is where the weather is going to be the worst this afternoon and evening, and that's where there could even be a quick tornado or two. But again, the big concern is going to be the big wind, then the big hail, and only then a tornado. Again, very low chance, but that's the area. I mentioned it this morning. I wasn't feeling very bullish on the severe chances closer to the lake, and case in point, south, 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 south. So at least that's good news for those heading to the game, the friendly in downtown. Yeah. Wow. House shaking thunder in Amherst. Interesting. That's because it was probably a positive lightning strike. Those are usually louder. And the lightning strike was probably very close to you. Let me see here. Literally. Right there. There it is. There's that lightning strike. It was on the north side of town. So, and also notice how this lightning bolt is bigger than the other one. This is a positive strike. The other one is a negative strike. Positive strikes are louder because of the polarity. Just like a magnet, you have a positive end and a negative end. The positive one is the one that goes boom. The negative one is the one that goes crackle. That's something that they teach us in school, but not necessarily we talk about on TV. Some people don't understand it or kind of get bored by it, but here on Facebook I have the opportunity to kind of explain it. So hopefully that helps explain why it was house shaking thunder by you, Kelly. So, Chris, exactly. South of Worcester, that's kind of where it is. Tornado sirens in Medina. I wonder if that's part of the test as well, because there's no tornado in Medina. You will get a downpour and a few lightning strikes, but again, assume that that was a test. There's nothing severe nearby Medina. Lori asking about up to what time. Plan on sunset being the last of the storms. So always be aware through sunset, which is about 9 o'clock. The worst probably going to be closer to 5 o'clock if the storms happen to spawn or pop right on top or be nearby. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of cool weather stuff, and this is one of the reasons why I always wanted to be a meteorologist, because there's just so many amazing things about the world of weather. And for those who are just trying to, hey, I have a plan, I have a wedding, I have soccer practice, they don't care about that, but I know some people do, and Facebook Live, great way to explain that on these live streams, having the ability to kind of explain all that. But again, I want to talk about the severe thunderstorm warning here as well. James saying strong gusts in Orwell. You're going to get some 30, 40 mile an hour gusts occasionally. What does it look like with the timing? Let's draw a storm track here. Updated storm track. Shreve, you got about 12 minutes from now. Glenmont, what, 13, 14 minutes. Holmesville, about 15, 16 minutes from now. That's when you really need to be inside at this point. Let's make sure here. Yeah, I'm getting a couple comments on the Facebook here as well, so don't mind me. Also, I'm nursing my throat a little bit. Both Mike and I this morning had a little, you know, something clearly going around, but I'm going to try my best here to just pull on through. Again, if you're in any of these locations, go indoors ASAP because there's a lot of lightning, quite a bit of wind, and potentially hail. Again, let me see if that has changed. Up to half-inch hail. Let me just double check. Let me turn off the lightning. We know there's a lot of lightning. In southern Richland right now, half an inch hail is possible. Probably just penny-sized or pea-sized, but yeah. Exactly, Karen, exactly. You know there's a severe threat today, so why in the world are you testing it now? It just creates a false kind of narrative, but Brittany, the winds are not going to be high outside of the thunderstorms. They will be noticeable, gusts of 20, 30 miles an hour. Wherever the storms form, there can be 40 to 60 mile an hour gusts. Let's actually take a look at what the gusts look like right now. Bear with me while I look it up. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning, Coshocton, Tuscarawas. I'll get to that in just a second. This is what the gusts look like. 31 miles an hour in Elyria, so yes. All right, so gusts between 20 and 30 miles an hour outside of the storms, and wherever the storms turn severe, there can be 40 to 60 plus mile an hour gusts that cause some damage. Notice in Worcester and Akron, ahead of those storms, 26, 28 mile an hour gusts, that's going to go up. Let me actually see here. Let's do this together. I don't do this very often, but what I wanted to see, let's see here. Let's do this together. This is my way of seeing what's cooking. It's a little bit harder to see on my end because it's very tiny. Actually, what I should do, let's see, boom, and let me do that so it goes down. See some of these gusts in Lorain County, 22 miles an hour at the airport right now, 28 miles per hour in Kipton, Vermilion, 23 miles an hour, but down closer to where the storms are, southern counties here. And again, unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of reporting stations here. But as you can see here, Worcester at the Wayne County Airport picking up to 29 mile an hour gusts. It's picking up as the storms approach. Again, the area that has the most wind doesn't have any observations right now at the moment, which is kind of unfortunate. No, Patty, lightning and wind, those are unrelated in this particular instance when talking about positive and negative. Judy saying not windy in Medina. So in Medina, you'll actually see it picking on up in a little bit. Let me zoom on into Medina County. Yeah, very light right now. 11 miles an hour in Sharon, 5 miles an hour in Valley City. But notice southwestern Medina County, Homerville, 20 mile an hour gust, and it's picking up as the storms approach you. But again, you'll miss it to the south. The storms will be to your south. Lori asking about storming at 2:30 or 3 in Medina. You'll be dry then, honestly. That might be your brief window, that brief gap of dry weather between the storms. All right, let's go back to our weather graphics. Let's go back to our severe thunderstorm warning now for Coshocton and Tuscarawas counties. New warnings. This is very odd. Why is Berlin, why is this part of Holmes County not included? For all intents and purposes, included in the warning, because you're going to get the same weather in Shreve as you will in Berlin and Beach City. Include this. So essentially all of this area, assume, is under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Tuscarawas County, Coshocton County until 1:15. Until 1:15. There you go, Coshocton County. All of this under severe thunderstorm warning. Let's turn on radar here. And that looks like there can be some hail now near Mount Vernon. And again, this is technically outside of our viewing area, but this will be entering Killbuck. This will be moving toward Keene and Warsaw over the next half hour. Let's do a storm track on this, because this will be including multiple Northeast Ohio counties. Again, this is traveling at about 60 miles an hour, potent line. This is the timetable, guys. Newcastle, shortly. Glenmont, about 5 minutes or less. Warsaw, about 10 to 12 minutes from now. Holmesville, about 13 minutes from now. Millersburg, you got about 13, 14 minutes until the storms reach you. Clark, about 15 minutes away. Keene, about 20 minutes away until the severe storms hit you. Tim saying you heard thunder in Sheffield Lake. Let's look at that real quick again. I don't want to go too far away from. Let me turn on the lightning here as well. Real quick again. There's a lot of it, unfortunately. Hold on. Got a couple of texts here that I just need to make sure we're all on the same page. So what you're hearing are these lightning strikes here in Lorraine County. That's what you're hearing. Again, the main action is down here. Notice, basically Worcester, Canton, you're kind of that dividing line right now for severe weather. So for this burst of severe weather, if you are on this side, that is where the severe weather is. If you're north of this line, consider it annoying. It's going to be raining. There will be some lightning, but nothing severe, nothing damaging. Where the damage could be is south of this pink line. Literally US 30 south, Canton, Worcester. You're going to be very close and probably just miss the severe weather. But if you're south, that's where the severe weather is going to be with this round of storms. I hope this actually helps out. Benjamin, cooling down fast in Millersburg, overcast, breezy, and yep, that thunderstorm's approaching. Now, Benjamin, I don't know if you're good with like iPhone photography or smartphone photography, or if you have a camera or a tripod. If you have a view west, set it up and start a time lapse. That storm coming in is going to look like a spaceship because it's known as a shelf cloud. Those storms are just going to look super photogenic, and that time lapse is going to look gnarly if you're able to set it up. Again, you don't have a lot of time to set it up now, but you know, if you're an enthusiast into that kind of stuff, that would be a good opportunity. Leonardo and Lorraine, lightning and light rain, and some wind gusts. Exactly, annoying, I call it. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy. North of Wayne, Ohio, area like Burbank, you're going to see, like right now, some rain, some downpours, but most of the severe weather should be to your south. Again, closer to 5, 6 o'clock, you could still have a chance, but most of it stays to your south. Denise and Strongsville, it's raining. Oh yeah, it is. It is for sure. I mean, take a look right there. Not super heavy, but it's coming down, and you're going to get a little bit of lightning and heavier rain in the next 20 minutes. No, probably not. Honestly, the threat is there. So I'm going to have to say technically yes, but my gut says we're going to be okay in Cleveland. Not so okay down to the south with these severe thunderstorms right here. That is your monthly test, as we've all concluded, thanks to all of your comments. And yes, monthly tests are on the first Saturday of the month at around noon. And we knew there's the threat for severe weather. Why didn't we postpone it? Let's see here. Was kind of bad in South Mansfield, says Len. Yeah, and now it's getting a lot better very quickly. You're still going to have a few downpours for about 20 minutes, but what you just had was a severe thunderstorm, my friend. Look at that. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. So now it's getting better, but still stay inside for the next 20 minutes while those storms cross. Again, I'm not seeing necessarily a lot of wind with this, surprisingly, and I don't know why. Let me turn off the lightning. It's too much on the screen. Baron button. Some small hail is still possible. Yeah, it doesn't look anything too crazy. Let me just double check here. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's also not helpful that basically the radar is shooting on top of the wind. So this is above the storms. It's probably windier than that. It's just unfortunate because of the radar, the way it's situated. I don't know if this is going to show it any better. No, unfortunately not. Yeah. Which is annoying, but yeah, no. Okay, let me clear this out. Let me do another storm track here real quick. And again, let me just make sure there's no, I mean, there is a little bit of shear being detected. Let me also turn off the watches. Okay, just so it's a little clearer. Again, wherever you see a little bit of green, there is some rotation happening in the atmosphere, but not necessarily reaching the ground until we start to get to that red color. And then if you see yellow, that's more like there's a tornado on the ground. It very rarely shows yellow. In my experience with this software program, the only couple of times it showed yellow, there were EF3, EF4, EF5 tornadoes on the ground. We're clearly not seeing that yellow, which is good. Again, what are we looking at right now? Most of the rotation looks to be south. Maybe clipping areas like here, but yeah. Luckily, no rotation. There is some wind despite that look. But whenever you see this like pinkish color, that's an indication there's probably hail. This right here, I mean, literally, if I were to draw it right there, this right here, you see that right there? That right there, if I were to just pinball that, it's going at 60 miles an hour. This is the areas that can see hail, penny-sized hail. Kilbuck in about 15 minutes from now. Keene in about 20 minutes from now. Berlin, about 25 minutes from now, expect the potential for some small hail and 60-mile-an-hour gusts. Softball games in Ashland. You're riding, I mean, they're probably, tarps are on, you know, everyone's off the field right now because it's pouring. The severe stuff is going to miss you to the south. If you're going to get a game in, it's going to be in how many minutes? Let me show you. There's the back edge of the rain, and it's moving at about 60 miles an hour. So it'll reach Mansfield in 20 minutes from now, which means it'll reach Ashland in about 30 minutes. So expect the rain to end in Ashland at 1 o'clock. Hopefully the games can resume or start at 1 o'clock, despite very less than ideal conditions on the field. But you'll be fine to get a 1 o'clock game in, a 1:30 game, you're fine. Afterwards will be a problem closer to 4 or 5 o'clock. Joanne asking about Cleveland. Yeah, I don't want to forget about my Cleveland friends. We've been very lucky so far. All of this rain has been almost missing downtown, but our luck is going to run out with a bit of a downpour in the next 20 minutes that's currently entering Cuyahoga County, crossing Avon Lake right now. Again, it's not heavy. It's just annoying, a little bit of wind. It's moving at 60 miles an hour. So in Cleveland, it will reach in about 20 minutes from now, this lighter rain. And then you'll have an opportunity closer to 4 o'clock, but I think most of that will stay south of Cleveland. I was going to say, it looks kind of crazy, but honestly, it also has to do with how the radar is kind of looking up. So this might be a little overdone, but yeah, when a hail core gets crazy is when we see something known as a TBSS, which basically as a scattered spike. When you have like a spike that juts out from the radar, which we don't have. And if there is a scatter spike, it would jut out south. I don't see any. So not big hail, at least, and it's not super impressive, but still, you know, some cause for concern. Ethan, yeah, so talk a little science with you here real quick because I don't want to detract too much from the warning. And notice they finally covered this part in. Berlin, yes, I said pretend you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. You are until 1:15 for all of Holmes County now. All of Holmes County under the warning. Destabilization is basically when all of the ingredients come together to juice up, to fuel the atmosphere, to produce storms. And when you destabilize, when you produce all the ingredients, you're going to produce thunderstorms. I think it's a little too late for Cleveland. And this evening, that might be an issue south of I-76. Closer to Cleveland, maybe a few downpours, but you're not going to have enough destabilization. The cold front's going to be farther to the south. You're going to get a lake breeze. It's not going to be as bad to the north. Columbus is under a severe thunderstorm warning, which explains, yeah. Sirens going off in Danville. I don't see any tornado. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, and there is hail right now in Danville. Let's take a closer look. Again, look at that. Along Black Road, Hoover Road, Millersburg Road, that is the worst of the conditions right now. As for velocity, I'm not seeing, again, it's a little harder to tell, but what you're looking for is red right next to green, close, like a couple, like two dots, red dot, green dot. There's a big blob of red and a big blob of green, no tornado. What is a little bit interesting, you see a little bit of that here, but this is just ahead of the main line. This does not look like anything tornadic at this point. Yeah, the shear rate, there's nothing on, no rotation being detected here. So sirens probably going off for big hail, big wind, and a lot of lightning. Again, let me turn it on. 300 lightning strikes in a 15, 20-mile radius of Danville right now. Impressive lightning display. So that's why you do not want to be outside right now. But Danville right now, you are right smack in the middle of this storm with what could be some hail. Let me just double check. Boom, hail, right there. You see that pink color? That is the potential for hail. How much hail? Penny-sized, ½ an inch in diameter. Again, it's not a lot, but these hailstones will not make driving along Millersburg Road any more fun. This is all moving eastbound. Let me clear this out. So Township Highway 331, and if you're heading eastbound toward Brinkhaven along Millersburg Road, if you're heading in the direction of Kilbuck and Millersburg, this hail is going to be following you. Again, this right here, this is all going this way, like this. It's all heading this way. Stillwell, Fort Fizzle, Glenmont, Kilbuck, you're all going to see at least some small hail in the next 15 minutes. So make sure you're heading inside if you aren't inside yet. Man, oh man, look at that. Big hail probably in some spots and torrential rain south side of Brinkhaven, still in Danville. That's about to head toward Township Highway 136 and 368. Again, this is heading into Coshocton County right now. Keene, traveling around Warsaw, make sure you're heading inside right now. Nellie, Newcastle, I mean, look at that. That is hail most likely right here along Township Road 111, 53. Into Mohawk Village, it's getting worse before it gets better. There's your severe thunderstorm warning right there. Ethan, right on 76 in Stowe. You might end up being right on the edge where the storms are just to your south. So I know, a little unfortunate from a storm chasing perspective. Akron, same idea. Karen saying rain and maybe some normal wind. We will be okay. I'm not sure where exactly you are, but if you are north of these storms, that's exactly right. It's annoying, yeah. Nothing severe. If you're outside and there's lightning, I would just recommend heading inside. Again, it's annoying, but we'll be okay. Exactly. It's the stuff to the south that we're not okay. Like this is rough stuff in Danville heading toward Kilbuck and Coshocton right now. Again, let's do another storm track here for those joining in a little late because we have the severe storms right now. This is all heading eastbound. Let me put this right here. Let me move this a little bit so everyone can see. Holmesville, 4 minutes from now, it's going to start to pour. Millersburg, 4 minutes to go. Dresden, 5 minutes. Keene, about 8 minutes. Coshocton, 9 minutes from now. Walnut Creek, Berlin, about 10 or 15 minutes from now. Southern Tuscarawas County, you will eventually be underneath these storms in a half an hour or less from now. Yes, you're going to get some insane views in Ericksville. It is going to look very, very, very interesting. Again, for those who have maybe a smartphone camera or professional camera and like kind of a setup or a tripod or something, look west. These storms are going to have spaceship-looking clouds around it. And the sky might even look a little green because green sky usually means hail. The hailstones reflect that green light and our eyes see green instead of gray because that light reflecting off the hailstones. Really cool phenomenon. Yep, same in southern Tusk. It's going to be similar idea there as well. I'm going to try to see here real quick. Don't mind me. I'm going to try to get one of our ODOT cameras. I'm curious if we have the ability to see something here. Bear with me while I do this. Nope, not this. Actually, let's do that as well. Let me see if there's any other gusts that have popped up. Worcester gusted to 35 miles an hour earlier, now 31 miles an hour. 29 miles an hour along Ohio 94. 49 mile an hour gust at Knox County Airfield, which is just south of our viewing area, but that just shows you those are some of the gusts that are making their way into Coshocton County right now. 49 miles an hour, so assume 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts moving into Coshocton County right now. Let's see what else is going on. That's about it from what I'm seeing. Yeah. All right, let me minimize this. Again, for those joining, I'm going to leave this up right now. Bear with me while I load something up here real quick. Okay, we're talking down toward here in Coshocton. That camera's facing down. There are like no cameras in this area, which is very unfortunate, but I just wanted to show maybe how some of these storms look, but yeah. Fortunately not the case. Okay, I'll bail on this. Misty, yes, Carroll County has the highest threat of anyone in Northeast Ohio for later this afternoon and evening. Bedford, you will likely miss the severe weather to the south of you, but still a couple of downpours, some annoying rain, but that's about it. Cuyahoga Falls, this batch of rain will miss, well, the severe stuff will miss to your south, just a downpour. Again, this is what it looks like right now. This is the severe thunderstorm warning that is currently in effect through 1:15. This is heading into Holmes County, into Tuscarawas County, into Coshocton County as we speak. Let me clear this out here real quick. Let's get this going here. Clear. Clear. Let me just make sure they didn't expand anything else. Again, the severe thunderstorm watch, notice it's areas south of I-76 in that yellow color. Ericksville, well, we're about to get it, unfortunately. You're technically not under the severe thunderstorm warning because it just ends before you, but expect it at around 1 to 1:15 when the storm is going to hit you. So you got about 20 minutes to get inside because there's some big hail and big wind being reported, at least the big wind part. And it's going to clip Keene and Warsaw right now. I don't know if there's anyone watching in Coshocton County, but yeah, this does not look great. Let me just double check. Yeah, hail. Some wind. I mean, what looks to be some rotation trying. I mean, it's very weak, it's very far away from the radar, but something interesting there. Right? Yeah, near Warsaw, right there. I mean, does it show anything? Oh, yeah. Yeah, right there. Near Nelly and Mohawk Village. There is some rotation up in the sky. No tornado yet. Something to keep in mind. We haven't seen even green yet show up. This is the first time I'm seeing that here in our viewing area, so just keep an eye out for it. Yeah, nothing crazy, just keeping an eye out on it. Yeah, and if you're joining in now, Wayne, Holmes, Coshocton, Tuscarawas counties are in the alert right now. Southernmost Wayne, I should say. There it is, right there. Melanie asking about Lorraine, because Lorraine, you just had some rain. You're drying out. In fact, you're probably going to see sunshine soon, if I'm not mistaken. One awesome tool that I use. Let's do this together, actually, because I love this tool. This is from the College of DuPage. Is there a mesoscale floater for us? There is. Look at that. Ah, not quite, not quite. No, it just clips us. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, they just moved it. Very unfortunate. Okay, we're just going to go localized then. We're going to go Cleveland. So you can clearly see, so Cleveland is right here where my finger is. That is Cleveland. Lorraine, a little bit farther to the west. Notice the sunshine that is going to that is forming soon. Let me guide you through this. Look at this. There are those storms, right? And then there's sunshine over here. But then you have these clouds near Detroit. These clouds over there, those are the ones that are going to form the thunderstorms after 4 o'clock at this point. I think we're going to say after 4 o'clock. That sunshine is one of the ingredients needed for storms. We're going to get a bit of a break. So again, after 4 o'clock, still be on alert, but most of it will be south of Lorraine this afternoon and evening. Yeah, downtown Cleveland, you're going to get some light rain finally here in the next few minutes, but nothing crazy. As for lightning, is there any lightning here? No, no more lightning. So Pride and CLE, you don't have to worry about heading indoors because of lightning. Where the lightning is where the severe weather is. Look at all that lightning. Woo-wee. Yeah, this, oh my goodness, southern Coshocton County. This is monstrous. This is a big storm. Right there. That is a hail core if I've ever seen one, too. Look at that. Whenever it shows black on the radar, that's usually hail. Now, just to double check. Boom. How big are we talking about? This might be an inch hail. Yeah. We're talking dollar-sized hail at this point, or like quarter-sized hail, you know. That is big hail that is going to be moving in to southern Coshocton County. This is very southern limits of our viewing area. A little bit of hail as well, northern Coshocton County near Blissfield and Metham and Warsaw. Some small hail being detected at least on our threat detector. Some small hail there. Some small hail farther north in Holmes County that's heading straight for Millersburg. So Millersburg, expect pea-sized, penny-sized hail shortly. Everywhere else, it's just rain and lightning, honestly. Yep, that's a lot of lightning for sure. Let's go back to this. Let me see if anything's changed. Any rotation? I mean, not really. We're okay. Let me just check the bottom actually here. This is interesting. This is out of our viewing area, but this will be very interesting to check on. Yeah, interesting. It's very hard to tell. Let me just double check with the Pittsburgh radar if that changes anything. I mean, '46, you know, that's a little, yeah, that's way too high because it's beaming way past, so ignore that. Just very, very heavy rain, wind, 60 miles an hour possible, and some small hail. For what it's worth, this northern bit looks to be weakening, which is good news. So Holmesville is avoiding the worst of it. because it looked like it was going to hit Holmesville. Like, look at that. It literally, the line literally started to break up. You can see a piece headed toward Worcester but weakened, and then the other stuff near Nashville literally sliding south. So Millersburg is dealing with the heavy rain, and you might get some small hail right now in Millersburg. Killbuck right now, really bad. Warsaw, really bad right now. Coshocton, you're about to get into it as well. Cindy asking about Willoughby or Menor. Let's zoom on out. Let me show you. You're going to get a little bit of light rain here in the next hour. Afterwards, we're dry till about 5 o'clock, and then maybe a couple of storms, but most of it will stay to your south. You have the lowest threat of anyone in Northeast Ohio today. So consider yourself lucky, Cindy, today with where you are. Again, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for the next half hour. Tuscarawas, Coshocton counties. One more storm track for everyone. Boom. Walnut Creek about 4 minutes from now. Newcomerstown about 12 minutes from now. Strasburg about 12 minutes from now. Port Washington 14 to 15 minutes from now. New Philadelphia about 15 to 20 minutes out. So that's how it looks like as we continue eastbound. These storms are flying at 60 miles an hour. At least they're not sitting in the same place, so the flood threat is not as great. Jessica asking about Ericksville. Let me clear this out. So Ericksville, it is going to be closer to 115, which is at about 25, 30 minutes from now. That's when you should anticipate these storms, which are weakening a little bit, which is a good sign. Yeah, they're all shifting south. They're heading toward the Zanesville area instead of toward New Philadelphia. You're still going to get some heavy rain and some hail, but at least not extreme, but still not great. You got it, Cindy. Where do the 4 p.m.-ish storms look to be starting? It's hard to say exactly where. I expect them to start bubbling right over land once they cross from the lake. So they'll start probably, if I were to guess, kind of like this. This is the area that I would be thinking about, and then they're going to start moving that way. That is my guess. And they'll continue intensifying the farther south and east they go. That's what my gut says right now, but it's all dependent on how fast this stuff gets out of the way and how much sunshine there is. I mean, let me see if I have a satellite here ready. Let me just fix this up real quick. Bear with me. Perfect. This is going to show it very, very nicely. Let me get rid of the surface analysis, and let's go in. So this is what we're dealing with right now. The white is the clouds, the black is clear sky. So right now what we're dealing with, let me telestrate here. So this is the back edge of the clouds right here, right? Here it is mostly sunny for all intents and purposes. Let me just try to draw some sunshine, right? Sun. This is where there's going to be energy for storms. And then this area right here, this is what's eventually going to form the thunderstorm. So eventually lightning. Oh, that's a terrible lightning bolt. There we go. Right, lightning, right? So essentially there's our break, and then there's that next round that hasn't formed yet, but that's where it's going to be forming its energy, getting its energy, and it's going to push into the direction where all of this stuff is right now. If I were to play this out right now, you can see that. Boom. Well, my program is slowing down. Hopefully you all aren't having connection issues where you are, but yeah. There's the sun, there's the lightning, there's that afternoon round, which again doesn't look very impressive right now, but when it reaches us after 4 o'clock, and the farther south and east it travels, the more energy it'll gain. go back to here. No updates right now here, but we do have a couple of storms popping up in southern Ashtabula County near Andover and Williamsfield. This is just very heavy rain. Let me see if there's any lightning. There is a little bit of lightning. Most of it is in Pennsylvania, as you can see. But if you're traveling along Main Street Creek Road in Wayne, Williamsfield, you are going to get a brief downpour. It's, again, annoying, not severe, but that did pop up. Downtown Cleveland, we're dealing with some light rain. Let me actually just confirm that we are. Let me just double check. So this is out towards Cedar Point, where the rain has seemingly ended. This is downtown Cleveland, and there is the rain. It's currently raining in Cleveland, and we've probably fallen, yeah, we were in the 80s, and now we're down to 71 here in Cleveland. Let me see, actually, if it got cooler anywhere else as well. I mean, look at that. We were in the middle 80s, and now it's only 67 in Norwalk, 71 Cleveland, 80 New Philadelphia, 80 Coshocton, and you're about to fall because of the rain as well. Also super humid, very humid. That's a dew point of 70 in Fremont. Ooh, boy, that's crazy. That is Florida weather if I've ever seen it. Again, severe thunderstorm warning. Southern Holmes, most of Tuscarawas, all of Coshocton County. Luckily, this northern piece does not look as intense, but southern Coshocton, ooh boy, yeah, it's a lot of lightning. And one more storm track here for everyone. This is what it looks like. So Newcomerstown, you got about 8 minutes. Tuscarawas, you got about 11, 12 minutes. Ericksville, you have about 15 from this point. Ericksville, 15 minutes until the heavy rain gets to you. Denison, about 15 or so minutes, a little bit more. New Philadelphia as well. Barnhill, closer to 20 minutes from now. Cuyahoga Falls, you're dealing with some steady rain right now. You're going to be getting in on some of that heavy rain, but only rain, not even a lot of lightning here in the next few minutes. And then the severe threat will be after 4:30. Okay, hopefully that helps out. Let me zoom on in here. Again, that's what it looks like right now as the severe storms continue to push eastbound. Let's do a quick check as well right now on the wind. Let me see if there's any updates here actually on some of these winds. Not seeing a lot. Let me just really quick, bear with me, observations. Let's do this. See, Worcester had a gust as high as 35 miles an hour. Yeah, there's just not a lot of data, unfortunately, here. 31 mile an hour gust not far from Canton. .41 mile an hour gust, 45 mile an hour gust. This is just south of our viewing area. 49 mile an hour gust at Knox County Airfield. Yeah. So that's what it looks like there. Again, some of these gusts could be approaching 50, 60 miles an hour. Light rain in Ericksville, yes, but the main stuff has not hit you yet. That's going to be still for a little bit from now. Like I mentioned, Ericksville, 103 is when the heavy rain arrives. Sprinkling in Akron, nothing significant. Yeah, the severe weather is staying south of Akron. You will get a downpour in about any minute now, actually, but no, barely any lightning as well. I mean, let's take a look at what Akron looks like right now. This is what it looks like in Akron right now. There's the rain, and it's about to pour. I mean, we can sit here. I'm going to answer a couple of comments while we look at Akron. Pretty cool looking sky right now. But again, this is not heavy rain. Yes, Cheney, it will. Yep. Benjamin, monsoon in Millersburg. Oh, look at that, a little alliteration. Yeah, I've been on the live stream for An hour, 15 minutes, and I've been letting y'all know about that, about to happen in Millersburg, and that's what's happening. Lots of rumbles of thunder. Let me know, Benjamin, what the wind is like. I'm curious. We don't have a lot of reports. Radar estimates about 40, 50 miles an hour, so I'm just curious what the wind is like, and if you have any hail, because the hail looks to have diminished, but I just want to have some ground truth. Oh, there's actually some lightning that just happened. Again, any questions, let me know. I know Akron, this is what we're looking at as some of the rain is moving on in. Again, not very heavy, but annoying for sure. Let me just check on a couple of things here, so don't mind me while I do this. I'm going to do a little reset here. Again, this is an opportunity right now. If you haven't followed yet, I've been updating on the forecast on Facebook. So if you haven't followed yet, at Allan Weather TV, you're going to see it actually going right now on the ticker at the bottom. Ready for it? Boom, there's the handle right there. Make sure you're following me because I'm going to have more updates on Facebook so you don't miss out. I'm not seeing any updates yet. Of course, all-important Parma Rib Fest. And good news is I think Parma might be in a pretty good spot where they avoid the worst of it. In Parma right now, you are, I mean, let me zoom in as much as I can. Let me try to get to, where is Day Drive? There's Pearl Road. Try to get closer here. So this is where Parma's Rib and Rock is right now. As you can see, there's a little bit of drizzle nearby. I'm going to animate this in the last few minutes. There's been drizzle nearby, but nothing directly overhead. But look what awaits you out at the shops. There's the rain right here. So here we go. That's not going to be very helpful. Let me undo that. Let me delete this here real quick. But once that's through, we're going to be dry if you're heading out to Parma. You're going to have a decent time. I would say actually just get out now if you want to go to Rib Fest. This is the back end. It's traveling at about 60 miles an hour. So Parma Heights, 102. So in 10 minutes from now, the rain in Parma at Rib Fest, at Rib and Rock will end. So we'd be able to go out and you will have at least 3 dry hours in Parma to enjoy. 3 dry hours for sure, and maybe the rest of the day will be fine too because of the storms missing to the south and east. No, Deb, hey, that's exactly why I'm here, because in 2026, of course, we all have, of course, linear TV and all, but if we need weather in a pinch and there's important weather happening, that's why we're here. I don't know if any of the other stations are, but you can always rely on us to always be with you whenever there's severe weather, active weather going on. And I hope a lot of people appreciate that from our Power 5 team as well, because we're dedicated. We're all Northeast Ohio strong here. Let's go back down. I don't want to ignore that warning because it is getting a little worse as it approaches Tuscarawas County and Fresno and Bakersville right now. Millersburg is right smack in the middle of the warning as well. So Millersburg is getting hit very hard with some of that rain, but it will be getting better in the next few minutes. There it is. See, Millersburg, the heavy rain now pushing east. But it's moving into Tuscarawas County as we speak right now. Let me just make sure there's no rotation anywhere. And I mean, it's a little bit hard to tell. It's trying. Let me see in the last few frames here. Is there anything off the deviate? So what's interesting? Ooh, this is interesting. So notice, I'm going to take this comment off. I'm going to draw this line here. So this is really like the main storms. And then look at this stuff here popping up right here in just the last few minutes. Boom, 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 boom. When that happens, and this little bubble is moving in a different direction than the main line, notice, whoop, starts to rotate. So we are probably seeing some rotation in Bakersville, not to the point where there's going to be a tornado, but this is very interesting. There it is. So, I mean, probably still too soon for a funnel cloud. I mean, there's a possibility for a funnel cloud if you're literally traveling in the Wolf area, south of Stone Creek. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking here really carefully. Yeah. You see that? This is what I mean when that red is right next to green, like that. It's a little interesting. A little interesting. Let me see if it's on another radar as well. Bear with me. I'm going to switch to Pittsburgh. Oh, I meant to say Pittsburgh. Are we seeing the same thing? Not quite. I mean, it's kind of there. Not really. Okay, I'll keep a close eye on that. Yeah, Coshocton right now is right smack in the middle of it, and we are probably seeing some small hail as well at times. Yeah, right there, moving into Bakersville as we speak. Canal, Louisville, and Keene as well. Scott, I appreciate the kind words. Euclid, not much to worry about right now. Stone Creek, though, on the other hand, you are dealing with what will be very, very bad rain and a little bit of hail any minute. So Cheney, if you have any loved ones out there, or if you yourself, make sure you're inside. You have like less than 3 minutes until the rain really gets going like crazy. Yeah, it's coming right at you. It's coming right at you. Boom. That's the latest radar right now. Yep, very heavy rain and wind of 50 miles an hour, maybe more. Good news is, generally the line is weakening. It's not as strong as it was, but still heavy rain, and let's see the lightning. A lot of lightning still going on. North daughter, yes, make sure she's safe. Make sure she's inside. North Canton. You're going to get a downpour, but the severe stuff is going to miss you. A better chance closer to 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock this evening, but again, it's wherever those storms form. So they might form on top of you or miss you. Pittsburgh under severe thunderstorm watch. Yep, that is off to our east. They have trimmed the warning as appropriate, which is great to see. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this line is weakening, which is great actually to see. Cool. Still bad though. Still bad. Stone Creek, Bakersville right now, very, very heavy rain. Let me just double check the velo, make sure it's nothing too crazy. It's weakening, yeah, okay, cool. So there might be some rotation up in the sky, but it's not anywhere close to even reaching the ground as a tornado, which is good news. How's Strasburg? You just had the storm, and I mean, it's still probably, yeah, let me just double check here. You're probably going to get some rain, and honestly, the storm itself is weakening. You see that north bit? It's not as strong. So you'll have a downpour and maybe some 40-mile-an-hour gusts, but you will avoid severe criteria, which is good. Kim, thundering in North Canton. Again, downpours and a couple of storms, not severe, not a lot of wind with these, just annoying. That's what I like to call an inconvenience for sure. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah, no tornadoes from what I'm seeing, which is good. Yeah, the line is generally weakening because this is not even the main event yet. The main event hasn't even formed. Let me just double check Detroit's radar and see if anything is formed. No. The main event is not even on radar yet. Thunder getting loud in Ericksville, and clouds are getting thicker. If you look west, if you know where west is, you should have a spaceship-looking cloud literally any moment, if not now. You might have even missed it. That's the storm moving on in. So very, very expected. Ericksville, there it is. Yeah, you're probably going to get an awesome kind of shelf cloud here. Again, if you're able to take a picture, if you have a view to the west, this right here is a shelf cloud, and it's moving right in your direction in about 5 minutes for Ericksville. Boom, right there. Do I have a photo of a shelf cloud here by any chance? Bear with me while I create a new graphic. That's what Akron looks like right now, by the way. Let me see. To make it a little easier for y'all, shelf. What does a shelf cloud look like? Oh, this is an awesome photo from one of our viewers a while back. That's what a shelf cloud can look like, by the way, right there. Boom. Look at that beauty. Look at that. That's what the kind of cloud you should be able to see, Wendy, if you look west. You only have a couple of minutes before you have to be inside. Or if you're inside and you have a west-facing window, you should be able to see something kind of like that. Cheney, thundering so loud in New Philadelphia, it shook the building she works in. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, let's zoom on into New Philadelphia right now. Let's see where the last lightning strikes were. Yeah, those are big strikes right there. You see that one right there? That lightning strike is a big one. That's a positive strike. Those are the louder ones, and it was right next to New Philadelphia, just a couple of miles away. Expect a few more before it's all said and done. The storm has a lot of lightning just to the south and west near Bakersville, and even more just outside of our viewing area to the south. Raining good in Akron and the lawn is happy. That's great to see because I know it's been a relatively dry week. Karen, there is a chance that Cleveland gets it after 4 o'clock through 7, but honestly, I'm cautiously optimistic that Cleveland stays mostly dry. Most of the stuff likely pops south and east of Cleveland. So, again, don't completely quote me on it. My gut says Cleveland's going to be okay, but there can still be a storm that pops faster, closer to 3, 4 o'clock, that could still be on the strong side. One more time, let's do one more storm track, and I'm surprised they haven't extended anything yet, at least a special weather statement. New Philadelphia, you're pretty much in it right now. Uricksville, you're coming on up here shortly. And we're going at, what, 60 miles an hour? Boom. So Dover in about 5 minutes. New Philadelphia, 5 minutes. Uricksville, about 5 minutes from now. Cambridge, about 10 minutes from now, when the very heavy rain moves on in. So here, Lorraine got a little bit of light rain, but again, the main event hasn't happened yet, and based on the current trends that I'm seeing, most of the worst of it will stay to your south. So still plan on the potential for a strong to severe storm, but most of it will stay to your south. Again, time frame 4 to 7 o'clock at this point. This is what I'm seeing. And Deb saying lots of thunder here in Dover. I mean, look at that. Look at all that thunder. How many strikes? 509 in the last few minutes. That's a lot. Deborah asking about this 4 o'clock storm. So it's not one singular storm. If you go to vacation on Florida and you see these like storms pop up where like in one town it's pouring and then right next to it it's completely sunny. That's what we're going to see. So some of us will see lots of sunshine this afternoon and not even worry about storms. Some of us will have to worry about the storms. Futurecast has done a terrible job, but what I'm going to try to do here together, let's see the newest Futurecast. Latest 15Z. Let's see if it's caught up in any. We're at 1 o'clock now. It's kind of caught up. So notice after 4 o'clock, you got a couple of storms firing up over the lake. These are the baby storms before the main line forms. So as they approach inland, look at that. They're coming off the lake, and south of 480 is where they start to pop. And there we go. Because of the storms right now, it looks to skip areas like Canton, Worcester, Millersburg because you're getting hit right now. I don't necessarily agree with that, but what it's suggesting is that the storms are not as strong and they're closer to the Akron area through about 8 p.m. and then it's over. As soon as the sun goes down, it's over. I hope that helps. Again, it's been a little bit of a messy picture here with these storms. Same thing with the Akron area, Patty. Hopefully I explained that. And same thing in Canton. Right now you're dealing with a downpour, and there's a chance closer to 6 o'clock this evening for another storm. Same thing, Ashley, with Massillon, what I just mentioned. There's the extension of the severe thunderstorm warning. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. New severe thunderstorm warning goes southernmost Carroll County, and then all of this is really outside of our viewing area. So southernmost Carroll County, I mean, barely includes Carroll County. And this is all outside of our viewing area. So all of the heavy stuff is moving out of northeast Ohio as we speak. Southernmost Ashtabula County, look at that storm near Andover. Look at all of that lightning. I have to turn it off. It's just too much. Too much lightning. Just barely, man, over the state line in Pennsylvania. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning. Man, New Philadelphia, you are lucking out. This thing looked like it was going to be ferocious. Look at that. And then, poof, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Ah, they just trimmed the warning. Good call. Good call because it's weakening. So south of New Philadelphia is where the Stone Creek, Port Washington, that's where it's really going to be really bad right now. Over to Riverside Park in Uricksville, you're going to get in on it. As for any sort of rotation, I'm not seeing much right now. We're fine. Yeah. We're fine. And then southern Coshocton County, that's moving out of our viewing area as well. So for Tuscarawas, the warning's until 2 o'clock, but it's really until 1:30 at this point. We're just waiting for this stuff to get on out of here. Again, wind up to 60 miles an hour, some small hail possible. A little bit of hail, yeah, right there, south side of Stone Creek. Having lightning and thunder in Canton, not severe, but yes, some good old-fashioned regular thunderstorms in the Canton area right now. A couple of lightning strikes. There you go. Only a few. See, not a lot. Just two. Just two. Yep, Dover, you're getting in on it, but the worst is going to miss you. You're going to get some thunder and lightning and a quick downpour, but you're very lucky in Dover. It is missing to your south. Let me check up on some of these gusts, see if anything changed. 35-mile-an-hour gust at in Coshocton area. Yeah. How high was it before? Yeah, 35-mile-an-hour gust. Okay. So 40-mile-an-hour gust, Holmes County Airport. How high was it before? It was as high as, well, I lost connection here. Hold on. Let's try that again. Oh, this website is really slowing down. "40 miles an hour, that was the top gust. Okay. So yeah, very, very big wind in some spots. And yes, again, if you've been tuning in this morning on Good Morning Cleveland, I mentioned how I was cautiously optimistic about Cleveland. We got a little bit of light rain earlier, and now we're seeing a break. We might have a couple of storms closer to 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, but honestly, most of that could stay south of Cleveland, and we're dry the rest of the way today. So Cleveland is not my worry. As you can see, I've been focused in on areas to the south of us, okay? Getting really windy here in Dover, yep. But that's not even the worst. The worst is missing to your south. So imagine how much worse it could have been. That is a really dark cloud moving into Uricksville right now, lightning and wind picking up. Yeah, I was going to say, that really dark cloud, kind of like that shelf cloud, that's moving in as we speak right now. I have to turn off the lightning. There's too much lightning. Uricksville, you're next. There it is. It's about to hit. It's about to be really bad. Yeah, big wind, some hail possible. That's what we're looking at right now. Trying to see if there's any cameras. Bear with me one sec while I look something up here. I'm not seeing too much right now. It kind of sucks that we don't have a lot of cameras out and about. Road conditions are less than ideal. That's all I'm seeing basically on the ODOT cameras on my end. Nothing too crazy. But again, you don't want to be driving out and about where that severe thunderstorm warning is. Let me go back here. Oh, totally did not mean to do that. I literally disconnected myself from my program, so bear with me while I load it back up. All right, we should be good. All right, we're back. We're back. Riverside Park, you're next. With that, look at that right there. So Main Street, Block 17. Look at that right there. That is kind of a bullseye with a little bit of hail possible. Let me just double check. Yeah, hail. Wind-wise, not too much, thankfully. Just really heavy rain. East Main Street, Conklin Road, Larson Road. You're going to get in on very heavy rain right now. And technically, southeast Ashtabula County is under a severe thunderstorm warning, but that is, I mean, that literally clips what? A kind of Williamsfield, but that's all moving into Pennsylvania. Yeah, literally just Williamsfield is technically under the severe thunderstorm warning in Ashtabula, but I mean, this is pretty gnarly to see. Look how it's just been backfilling and backfilling and backfilling. I wouldn't be surprised if this storm starts to blow up in Wayne right now and moves into Williamsfield, but for all intents and purposes, this warning is for Pennsylvania. That looks very bad. But yeah, everywhere else in Northeast Ohio, we're okay for now, with the exception, of course, of Ericksville right now. Ooh, it's about to get pretty crazy. Just make sure there's nothing else. There's the rain in Ericksville, and the wind has dropped significantly. So the wind usually happens before the rain hits. It's what's known as outflow, and that's what helps create that spaceship-looking cloud, that super dark cloud, because the wind is pushing that storm in your direction. So once the rain gets here, the wind now keeps progressing, and then after the wind comes the rain. I hope that makes sense, Wendy, with the, yeah. Deb, thank you so much. This means a lot. No, this is what we're here. Wendy, this is what I said. Ding, ding, ding. I said if you see a green hue, that means there is some small hail in that storm. The greener the color, the bigger the hail, the more the hail there is. So expect some hail where you are, Wendy, or just nearby. Keep an eye out. If you hear some pings, there could be some pea-sized hail happening. Emma, can you send me a DM on Facebook? I see you're commenting on Facebook. Send me a message of what you're seeing. I will then, if you give me permission, text me permission in the chat. If you give me permission to show it, I'll be able to then pull it up on my screen so everyone here at home can see it as well. Wendy, that's what we're here for, to make sure that everyone is on the same page, everyone's understanding the situation, learning a thing or two, and staying safe and informed through the whole process. That's what we're here for. I don't know where you're getting this. No, not even close. You know, Akron has a downpour right now. You want to see Akron? I can show you Akron right now. This is what Akron is right now. No tornado. Some rain, a little bit of a downpour, but no tornado. Don't worry about tornadoes. I'm not seeing anything to suggest a tornado right now. That storm is intensifying as it approaches Ericksville. That is literally hail on top of Main Street approaching Riverside Park. This is hail that continues to move on in. That is very big hail moving into Riverside Park and along Larson and Main Streets. This is likely going to just miss downtown Uhrichsville by literally a couple of 100 feet, honestly, like a quarter of a mile. But if you're living anywhere south of downtown Uhrichsville, along Waterworks Hill Road, along Wolford Road into Newport, that is big hail that's about to move on in, right there. And it's going to continue moving eastbound. Yeah, but in general, this is starting to weaken, which is good news. It doesn't look as intense. I mean, it's still bad, but not as much of that pink and like dark pink, like blackish color, with the exception of just south of Uhrichsville, right there. That's really the bullseye right now for the storm. Yeah, otherwise everything else is south of our viewing area. Again, for most of you watching, you're like, what storm? Cleveland has really lucked out. Everyone else, I mean, we're quiet till 4 o'clock, and then Phil is going to take over. Again, there's technically a severe thunderstorm warning in Ashtabula, but for all intents and purposes, all of the bad stuff is in Pennsylvania, not in our viewing area. Bear with me here. Just got a photo from Emma. Let me just double check. Not only torrential rain, but also hail. Hail makes it appear to the radar as if it's like ginormous rain, but it's really just hailstones mixed in with the heavy rain. And one way to differentiate it by doing this threat detector, boom, this differentiates it. The pink is where the hail is, the green is where there's no hail. I hope that helps. I mean, we're not with Detroit, and you can always watch WXYZ Channel 7, our sister station in Detroit. I'm not seeing anything per se right there right now, so always check in with your local station, Channel 7 in Detroit. Wendy, power is flickering on and off. To be expected with winds that could be 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. Andre asking about Massillon, our car shows today. So in Massillon, you're going to see the rain wrap up in about 30 minutes, and you're going to have about a 2 or 3 hour window where it's okay, and then just keep an eye to the sky. There's a chance the storm misses you, but there's also a chance it hits you later this evening. Yeah, I see your photos, Emma. Yeah, nothing crazy because the storm literally dove to your south. It weakened in your neck of the woods, so at least consider yourself lucky. Glenn, where exactly are you with the winds and the rain? Sure, everything else is fine. Yeah, see, we're fine in Ashtabula. That little corner in Williamsfield, just a downpour. Don't worry about anything severe, despite being in the warning. More trimmage. Only a little bit of Tuscarawas, and again, the southernmost Carroll County, but for all intents and purposes, it's going to miss the worst of it. Newport right now, yeah. That's probably the worst in Northeast Ohio right now. Got it, Gun. Yeah, Cambridge out of our viewing area, but yeah, no, for sure. Wind and rain, for sure. I'm not necessarily seeing any crazy rotation, and just to double check, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Okay. I'm just looking here, just to make sure there's no rotation. Just taking a very close look. So, Wendy, what you just said, this is exactly what hydroplaning is. When you have that sheet of water just laying on the road because it can't run off, because there's a lot of rain in a short amount of time, your wheels can easily skid. So don't drive fast. Be very careful, and honestly, wait this out a half an hour, let some of that water recede, let the storm pass. There's a reason why it's a severe thunderstorm warning, my friends. Don't go out anywhere if you don't have to. Newport, the worst is past you, but you're still dealing with heavy rain for another 20 minutes. Let me do an unconventional, when does the heavy rain end? The heavy rain is going to end. So these are the times when the heavy rain ends. The heavy rain ends in Goshen in about 5 minutes. In about 8 minutes for Roswell. About 10 minutes for Uricksville. That's when the heavy rain ends, but still some rain will continue for another 20, 30 minutes afterwards. Let me just make this clear. Let me write this down. End. I can barely see it, but yeah, end time. So I think the good news is, because of these storms forming now, there's not going to be as much fuel for the storms later. Still, be on the lookout between 4 and 9 p.m., but the odds have gone down because these storms have gotten very strong to severe, stealing the energy from the evening batch. Just trying to see if there's anything else happening here. That's interesting. We got a little rotation going on. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. Red coupled next to green. You see that? Red ooh. This is technically out of our viewing area, but it's very close to the border with Tuscarawas County. This is interesting. You see what I mean? When we have boop and boop, like that, right there. There might be some rotation happening. We just got a new scan. It's not as clear anymore, which is great. This is great. Okay. It's still kind of there, but this would avoid our viewing area, at least. Something interesting to keep an eye out on. Yeah, it's just southern Tuscarawas County right now, just dealing with very, very heavy rain. Probably even some hail near Gilmore, along Grove Road, Fallen Timber Road, Sandy Ridge Road. There's probably some hail there. Yeah. Again, for the Canton area, right now we're dealing with some heavy rain, but not a lot of lightning. Let me see the latest lightning. 1 strike, southern Stark County. The warning for Ashtabula, again, most of the rain is already out of Ashtabula, so it's all on the Pennsylvania side, not for us. Nothing out this way still. Nothing is formed. Yeah. Nothing. Nothing. Too much lightning. Too much lightning. Again, Gilmore, Uricksville, Goshen, just be inside for the next half hour. Just let this storm pass. Any other questions? I'll be on for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to regroup here. I'll say hi to Phil when he gets in a little bit. Just kind of get an idea of what to expect. Kelmore, There will be more storms popping up later. The odds of them really sticking around are not too high. They'll be more widely scattered, so there's a chance you'll be dry the rest of the way, and just nearby there's a storm, or vice versa. Let's look at the new futurecast here. Let's see if the new one has appeared. We at 15Z? No, it's not helpful. Man, still no. Okay. See if this is any better. I mean, our latest futurecast is not. I don't agree. I don't agree with it. I just don't agree with it. But yeah, you can see like them popping up. Basically, just be weather aware between 4 and sunset, 4 and 9 p.m. There will be storms popping, but notice it's not everywhere. There's breaks, there's sunshine in between. So still be on alert. Cheney, I appreciate the kind words. That's what we're here for. Just double check. I don't want to forget about our severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, everything looks crazier toward the Cambridge area. Not as bad in Tusk, but still Tuscarawas County south of New Philadelphia. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes. Again, this is all heading out of the way. This is not impacting our viewing area anymore in a few minutes. Still, very heavy rain. Newport, Ericksville, Gilmore to Westchester. Yeah, Wendy, it is calming down very quickly. Notice it goes from very heavy to light quick. Appreciate it. New scan, new update. Looking better and better every frame. Yeah, just had some heavy rain in Canton, Brewster, some rain. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, let's look at Cleveland. This is what Cleveland looks like. We got some blue sky. It's going to get hot again. This is what it looks like in Worcester right now after the rain. Look at that, blue sky right there. So that's why I'm still worried about seeing more storms later this afternoon. We still have some of the ingredients. Maybe not as much energy, but sunshine, humidity, warmth, wind, we're going to have it. So yeah. Okay. Tuscarawas County, we only got about 5 more minutes of this heavy rain, and then it's just going to be lightening on up, which is good news. Tiffany, heavy in New Philadelphia. That's what just passed. And you'll have, again, a couple of downpours here the next few minutes, but otherwise, much better. You're out of the warning, so nothing alarming, but still some lightning. I mean, let me turn it on. There's the lightning. So expect still some lightning for a few more minutes in New Philly. Making sure everything is okay on my end here. Making sure nothing sneaks up on us. Again, stuff in Ashtabula County, it's no longer raining and they still have the severe thunderstorm warning. They should just trim it. It's only in Pennsylvania, so that's why we never alerted that warning, because it was never severe for our viewing area. everything's dry and dandy. I mean, let me look at the gusts here real quick. Wow, New Philadelphia, 47-mile-an-hour gust right now. Woo, boy. Could be even higher in some spots, and that's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning. Let me see on this website what we got. Yeah, there it is. There's the 47. 49 miles an hour. Where is that? Try to zoom on in here. Wow, 49 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour at Holmes County Airport. 49 miles an hour at Knox County Airfield. 35 miles an hour at Downing Airport. Yeah, lots of wind. Lots of wind. There could be some wind damage coming out of these storms. Wow. So let me just, I'll close that out. It's hard to do when you're zoomed in. Interesting. Newcomerstown is out of the warning. Carmi, out of the warning. It's getting a lot better, just some light rain for the next few minutes, that's it. Uricksville right now, improving. The worst is now over, but still stay inside for another 20 minutes to let these downpours end. Strongsville, we're dry until at least 4 o'clock, and then there's the potential through 8. Possible. Hopefully it stays south of you. Any last questions before I wrap this up as these storms are heading out of our viewing area? Just wanted to regroup, get a couple of forecast updates in, get ready and brief Phil as he walks on in about the next half hour or so. Let me know any comments. And again, if you aren't following yet for more of these updates so you don't get caught by surprise in the future, there's my handle, at Allan Weather TV. Make sure you're following along. So yeah. Some small hail, but again, the hail is out of our viewing area now, which is good. Ooh, this is, again, out of our viewing area. This is about 5 miles south of our viewing area. Interesting stuff there. Interesting. Let me look at Pittsburgh here. Interesting. Okay. Just a little rotational off, nothing too crazy. Again, just heavy rain, but this is now out of our viewing area. Yeah, we're wrapping on up here. Any last questions before I head out? As the severe thunderstorm warning is going to be, again, the warning is technically till 2 o'clock, but they're going to trim it any minute. And the severe stuff is now ending in Tuscarawas County, and the severe stuff is safely south of Carroll County. Exactly what Jason said. Help the algorithm out. Yeah, good news, at least the severe stuff is now moving out of northeast Ohio and south and east of our area. Still some steady rain for the Canton area. Everywhere else, we're dry. We're, in fact, increasing the sunshine. One more look at Cleveland here. Whoa, whoa. I just lost connection here. Bear with me. I can't control anything right now, so... All right, I don't know if we're back or not. I know we briefly froze there. But I'm going to wrap this up. I think that was my cue from the computer. Hey, time to wrap it up. This is what it looks like out toward Cedar Point. Also some blue sky. Akron, blue skies coming on out. Downtown Cleveland, blue skies coming on out. So, cool. All righty, guys. Let me just check one more time with the radar. Just leave you with that. Yep, the severe stuff is now safely out of Tuscarawas County out of our viewing area. Alrighty. Any questions? Feel free to comment on any of my Facebook posts. Make sure to follow me for those updates. I'll be sure to answer most of your questions throughout the day today, and then Phil will be filling on in until this evening. So hope everyone stays safe, tries to get their outdoor activities done now while we have the break for most of our viewing area. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Much better weather tomorrow. I'll be back with y'all on Good Morning Cleveland tomorrow morning.